Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Blue Knight and it's time for another Pokemon challenge. My first challenge run on this channel was beating Pokemon Platinum with only one Eevee, and I think it went pretty well for a first attempt at something like this, so let's do it again. All these videos will be put into a playlist for you guys in case you've missed any of them so far and want to catch up. I plan on doing a bunch of these and I'm always looking for some more ideas for runs, so feel free to suggest some in the comments, on Twitter, or in my Discord. Now, let's answer the question. Can I beat Pokemon Sapphire with only one Aron? Ironically, I've always had a soft spot for Aron. I just think he's cute. But let's see if I can beat the entire game only using one of them. Aron has a really good attack and even better defense, but the rest of his stats leave something to be desired, with the highest one being HP at 50 base. His special defense is only 40, and that has me worried for when he eventually encounters water types. Also, Aron has horrible speed, leading me to think that the Quick Claw will be used prominently in this run. All in all, he actually has 5 more total base stats than Eevee, so on paper this seems like an easy run. However, Aron is also 4 times weak to ground and fighting, whereas Eevee was only weak to fighting. This run will definitely be interesting to say the least. So, here are the rules. I can only use Aron in battle. I'll need to catch other Pokemon for HMs, and I think I'll probably get some Zigzagoons for pickup, but I won't be able to use them in battle. No glitches, exploits, or cheating of any kind. No healing or using items in battle. Held items and items outside of battle are allowed. Just like last time, I'm running this section of the script before I start because I like trying to predict where I think the game will be easy, and where I might struggle a bit, even though I'm apparently horrible at it. I'm not going to have to worry about the first gym too much. I think the first real roadblock won't be until Flannery and her Numel with Magnitude. Anything with a ground or fighting type move and decent speed is going to suck. Steven has 3 Pokemon with Earthquake, so that fight's going to require a lot of luck, but I have a plan. Also, Wallace, the 8th gym leader, and Glacia of the Elite Four use water types, and my special defense will be atrocious. Those two are going to be showstoppers unless I can land some amazing hits on them or come up with a decent strategy on the fly. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more challenge runs like this, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. With that said, let's do this. I start off by replacing Torchic with Aron using a randomizer. I replaced Torchic as that'll make May have Mudkip, who eventually gains access to ground type moves that are 4 times super effective, and water also works well against me. Before settling down and starting the run, I spend a bit of time resetting for the right Aron. He can either have Sturdy or Rockhead for an ability. Sturdy is horrible pre-Gen 5, so I want one with Rockhead because I know I'll be getting Double Edge down the line. I also wanted a female one in case I decide Attract is a good idea. Most of the trainers that I think I'll have trouble with are male, and by extension their Pokemon are as well. I finally found one that met all of my criteria and named her Stella. She has a gentle nature, which means my special defense is higher, but defense is lower. Like I said, interesting run. After making our way through Oldale Town and the connecting routes, we meet up with May and have our first real trainer battle. There's not much to talk about as we barely get damaged with each tackle, and ours takes Mudkip down in a handful of hits. I feel like this will be the easiest fight we have against her. Following the fight, I start collecting Zigzagoon, and apparently the game thinks it's Ladies' Night as all my Pokemon are female. Pickup is broken in Ruby and Sapphire. After every battle, there's a 10% chance for a Pokemon with Pickup to find an item, and in these games, they pick up a rare candy 10% of that time. It's basically a 1% chance to get a rare candy after every fight, and that's only with 1 Zigzagoon. I also run into 2 1% Surskit while trying to find 5 Zigzagoon, making me feel like I'm already wasting my rare candy luck. We make our way through the forest and get to Rustboro, where we start preparations for the upcoming gym fight. While on the northern route above town, Aron learns Metal Claw, which I teach over Harden. Then, it's time to fight Roxanne. She ends up using both of her potions on Geodude, and we get an attack boost with Metal Claw before she sends out her Nose Pass. It goes down to just 3 more Metal Claws, and the first badge is ours. What a change of pace from the last challenge run I did. Now it's time to sail on over to Dewford after we save Briney's darling Pico from Team Aqua. This town is actually home to the second gym, but I know we aren't ready yet, and it's possible to skip until I feel like it's a good time. The only consequence is we won't be able to use Flash outside of battle. Also, this town seems to be in the know and up to date with their trendy phrases. Allow me to teach them a new one, and just look at the chaos that ensues. Now I got this whole town wanting me to give them my hoo-ha. Oh god, what have I done? I think this kid takes it a little bit too far though. Sounds like his parents need to hide their stuff better. If you would like me to give you hoo-ha as well, be sure to like the video and leave a comment. The YouTube algorithm likes that kind of stuff. While in Granite Cave, Aron learns Iron Defense, so I replace Rock Tomb even though I just taught it after Roxanne. We eventually find Steven after running around in the dark, and get the TM for Steel Wing. That could be a really interesting move if we do a flying Pokemon challenge in the future. I also decided to nope out of Dewford without fighting the gym. I have a feeling we're not ready yet, and challenging it now would just be a waste of time. I'll come back when I'm stronger. North of Slateport, we run into May again, and this battle is infamous for being one of the hardest rival fights in this game. I know she's gonna have a Marsh Stomp as well. She leads with a Shroomish who knows Stun Spore, Leech Seed, and Mega Drain, a stalling machine. Yay. We start off with Iron Defense, but get paralyzed right off the bat. Leech Seed misses as I get another Iron Defense up, and then it uses Mega Drain while I'm still buffing my stats. I think I'm gonna need it maxed for Marsh Stomps and Mudshot. I start attacking with Headbutt, which does less than half of Shroomishes HP, and he gets a Leech Seed up. Quick Claw activates and Headbutt makes her flinch, but I'm fully paralyzed the next turn. This isn't looking amazing. Mega Drain crits and leaves Stella with 1 HP, and I'm still fully paralyzed and go down to Leech Seed damage. So, we're in between a rock Pokemon and a hard place. On one hand, we have May. On the other, Brawly. It's obvious I need to train, so I end up heading back to Dewford just to see how Aron handles the gym. And let's just say, I was very pleasantly surprised. Brawly leads with Machop, and I start setting up my Iron defenses. He goes for 2 Leers and a Bulk Up as I use Iron Defense 3 times. My Headbutt and his Karate Chop look like they're doing about the same damage, but my second Headbutt makes him flinch. I still have over half my health and plus 4 defense going into Makuhita. Headbutt does a little over half of Makuhita's health and he goes for Bulk Up. I wasn't sure if another Headbutt would be enough after that, so I went for Mud Slap to maybe get a miss out of him. However, he opts to use Knockoff over Arm Thrust. It crits, but it does a whopping 2 damage, and we take him out with a final Headbutt. That was my first attempt. Unfortunately, after that win, we still have to grind for May. I kinda thought we'd have to train for both of those fights, so it's nice to only have to do it for one of them. At level 26, I try again. I start the battle with an Iron Defense like normal as Stun Spore misses. I then go straight for attacking, and Shroomish flinches after a Headbutt. One more knocks it out, and here comes Marsh Stomp. I Mud Slap it, and it goes for Bide? Really? Well, I used the opportunity to max out my defenses. Thanks, May. After Bide failed, I used Headbutt, which deals a little less than half of Marsh Stomp's health, and thanks to the Mud Slap, Mudshot misses. Our next Headbutt crits, and Marsh Stomp goes down. I think the crit mattered. Finally, Numel is sent out, and it only gets off a weak Ember as it goes down to 2 Headbutts easily. It's amazing how far a little luck can go in runs like this. Sure, we needed a little bit of it to get past Shroomish, but we went from losing to just it, to barely being touched at all. On our way to Maulville, Aron learns Iron Tail, a 100 power, 75% accurate Steel-type move. I replaced Metal Claw with it because I think we're going to need the power Iron Tail supplies for some fights. Then, it's time to challenge Watson. He leads with a Magnemite, and we hit it with a Mud Slap. It doesn't quite do enough for the one-shot, but it does make its attack miss. Watson heals it, but it still only takes 2 more turns to knock it out. Next up is Voltorb, who immediately misses a Sonic Boom, and then self-destructs for, wait for it, a whole 6 HP. I was dying when I saw how little it did. Now for his ace, Magneton. His Supersonic confused us, but we still got off a Mud Slap for a little over a third of its health. We get nailed with the Sonic Boom and hit ourselves on the next 2 turns, and we go down to the following Shockwave. This fight is possible, but we need better confusion luck, or preferably no confusion at all. We try the fight a few more times, and one starts to look promising. We crit our Mud Slap on Magnemite, then Voltorb comes out and nails us with a Sonic Boom. Headbutt puts him into healing range, and 2 turns later he self-destructs, leaving us with a little over half health. We're back to Magneton, who goes for Sonic Boom immediately, and we're down to 28 HP, which Aron then heals to 38 with his newly equipped Oranberry. Still a 2-shot with Sonic Boom, but luckily the next one misses, as Mud Slap brings Magneton to red health. Watson heals, but we just keep destroying his accuracy with Mud Slap. He gets off one last Shockwave, bringing Aron to just 6 hit points, but one more Mud Slap seals the deal. The frickin' Oranberry saved us. Our next destination is Fall Arbor Town, where we can pick up the TM for Dig and finally replace Mud Slap with it. Seriously, Watson would have been so much easier with this, but I digress. It's still a very useful TM regardless. We then head over to Meteor Falls to watch Team Aqua and Magma get into an argument about whether the floor should be lava or water, and then they leave to go duke it out on top of a volcano. We follow suit, and Archie is none too pleased, so we battle for the first time. He leads off with a Mighty Yenna who cuts my attack with Intimidate, which is annoying, but after a headbutt and an Iron Tail, he goes down. We get confused by his Golbat, but still hit an Iron Tail for 3/4 of its health. Archie heals as we land a headbutt and then flinch due to bite. He bites me again, but Aron doesn't flinch or hit herself, but Iron Tail misses. She snaps out of confusion on the turn following and lands the knockout blow on Golbat to bring out Sharpedo. He goes for Focus Energy and Crunch, but 2 headbutts leaves him with just a sliver and he heals. Another headbutt brings him back into red health as his next crunch lowers my special defense. That would have worried me if we didn't also take him out in the same turn. Does Archie really not have a water type move on his Sharpedo here? I've been looking up movesets, so I genuinely don't know. After Team Aqua is defeated on the volcano, it's gym time once again. I give Stella a soft sand, and then we try our hand at Flannery. She leads off with a Slugma who we outspeed, and she goes for Light Screen. Against an Aron. Okay, you do you, Flannery. I was expecting a sunny day, but sure. She heals, but is taken down by 2 more headbutts, no thanks to the crit. Her second Slugma is next, and I go for Dig as it sets up a sunny day. Dig hits for the one-shot, and Torkoal is out. She goes for an Overheat, but misses due to Stella being faster and digging a hole. Dig hits for less than half of her HP, then Overhit connects and lands Stella in red health. I go for Headbutt hoping for a flinch, but we get taken out by the following Overheat. On the next attempt, we take out both the Slugmas easily, and Flannery wastes a potion on one of them. The second one did try a flamethrower with a sunny day up. Luckily, we were underground. Torkoal comes back out on the turn that the sunlight fades, and I use Headbutt, again hoping for a flinch. Again, she doesn't, and Overheat hurts less now with no sun, and it'll only get weaker thanks to its recoil harshly lowering Torkoal's special attack. She switches to using Body Slam for some reason, and luckily we don't get paralyzed as 2 more digs nets us the win. On the way back to Petalburg to battle Dad Norman, we pick up the Claw Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say which one I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, ask anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Finally, we arrive back in the 3rd town of the game, and it's time to take on our own father for the 5th badge. In preparation, I replace the soft sand with the silk scarf. Norman leads off with one of his 2 slacking, who outspeeds us, and crits his facade. We follow up by missing Iron Tail. Gonna be one of those fights, huh? On the turn he's loafing around, I use Iron Defense to hopefully tank more of his hits. He uses Yawn, making us drowsy, and then a second Iron Tail misses. Stella uses Iron Defense once more, and then falls asleep. We wake up turn 2, and finally hit an Iron Tail, which does less than half its health. But we get the 30% chance to lower the opponent's defense, so it's a 2-shot. Next up is the second slacking, and I know I need to keep the pressure on. This one has Focus Punch, an extremely powerful fighting type move, but it only works if the opponent doesn't take damage for a turn. I stupidly go for Iron Tail, somehow forgetting that a miss wouldn't count as doing damage, but we hit and he loses his focus. I then swap for Headbutt for less damage, but a guaranteed hit. This unfortunately lands him in red health, but if he's only going to use Focus Punch, I could do this all day. That is, until I run out of power points. From here on out, I swap between using Headbutt on turns Slacking isn't loafing around to keep the pressure on, and use Iron Tail when he is. However, Stella missed 2 more Iron Tails, and Norman heals up once again. Back to square one, and I employ the same strategy to strikingly similar results. I miss yet another Iron Tail, but the last one finally connects and takes out this stupid Slacking. Vigoroth is Norman's last Pokemon, and it starts whittling us down with Feint Attack. Iron Tail misses again, but the second one connects, bringing him down to 1/4 health. Since I didn't heal power points before this fight, that's actually my last Iron Tail, and I have to resort to a critical Headbutt to get the win. Man, that was a frustrating fight, but luckily Norman can't do much to a Steel Rock type. We had atrocious luck. After the fight, I pick up Surf from Wily's dad and head over to New Mauville to try and grab a Metal Coat for my Magnemite. This is the only way to get one before the Elite Four in this game, so I don't feel like I'm breaking any rules by catching them since Aron can't learn Thief, and I can only use her in battle. I guess you guys can tell me what you think down in the comments, and if you consider this run valid or not. I won't be using them in battle obviously, but I think a metal coat could be useful in some situations, which is why I'm making this pit stop. Finally! After a little over an hour and me catching 36 Magnemite, I get a metal coat and can move on. That's what I get for going after a 5% wild held item. We make our way over to Route 118 in Fort Tree City, which is home to the 6th gym, but on our way we stop to deal with Team Aqua in the Weather Institute. After we beat the admin, the director of the institute gives us a cast form holding the Mystic Water. It doesn't really matter for this run, but I figured I mentioned it anyway. Immediately following is a rival fight I almost forgot about. May is usually a pushover, but not this time. We one-shot her Skirmish and Nummel with Iron Tail and Headbutt respectively, and then almost one-shot Marsh Stomp with Double Edge that we learned in the fight, but it used Mud Shot for over half of Aron's health and lowered her speed. The next turn, Marsh Stomp outsped us and knocked us out. That was unfortunate. The second try goes more our way after we set up an Iron Defense on Nummel. For some reason, May opted to use a Mud Shot and then Takedown instead of just 2 Mud Shots, but whatever, we got the win. After we get the Devon Scope from Steven, I decided to go pick up TM11, which is Sunny Day. Aron can learn this move, and it might just come in handy for the Water-type gym. I can get rid of a level up move for it, and then relearn the move I forgot in Fall Arbor afterwards, since I also have a Heart Scale handy. I may not need it, but this is an option if I do. With the prerequisites done, it's time for the 6th gym leader, Winona, and her flying types. She leads with a Swallow, who we try to double edge but miss thanks to it outspeeding and using double team. The second one hit and it's a one-shot. Next up is Altaria, her ace. She goes for Dragon Dance to raise her attack and speed and Stella lands a solid double edge, knocking her to about a quarter of her health. We then proceed to get one-shot by Earthquake. I can say that I didn't see that one coming. What specific type coverage? I change up my strategy and try again. Since Swallow can't do anything to me, I decide to set up Iron Defenses while it double teams. Kind of annoying since I know I'll probably miss a lot, but I really do need the defense for Altaria. I don't think power points will be an issue unless we get extremely unlucky. It only takes 2 double edges until we land a hit knocking it out and bringing Altaria back to the battlefield. She Dragon Dances and then tries an Earthquake, but this time Stella's only taken down to 77 HP. A second double edge finishes her. Pelipper is next and she goes for Protect. I don't think double edge could one-shot, so I go for an Iron Tail and get a defense drop, but I also get confused in the process. We hit our next double edge and out comes Skarmory. The first turn we hit ourselves in confusion, but hit the next one and lowered Skarmory's defense with Iron Tail. She then starts sand attacking. Really? Stella hits herself one more time, but then snaps out as I switch to double edge for the accuracy. Luckily, the sand attack didn't matter and we took her out in 2 more double edges and obtained the 6th badge. We make our way to Lily Cove City where May is waiting for yet another battle. This one is optional, but I decide to go for it anyway. She now leads with a Swallow and I apply the same strategy I used for Winona and set up an Iron Defense while May goes for double team. After missing 3 double edges, Stella finally connects and gets the KO. Nummel goes down to 1 double edge while Marsh Stomp takes 2. Finally, we one-shot her Skirmish and that's that. Those are all the May fights in the game. I can't believe she never has a fully evolved starter by the end. It feels a bit unfulfilling in a way. In any case, our next destination is Mount Pyre, and after a bit of grave robbing, we encounter Archie who's trying to steal an orb to take control of Kyogre. However, Archie is an idiot, and takes the wrong orb. I don't know, maybe he's colorblind, but the last time I checked, Kyogre was blue, not red. After dealing with the shenanigans in Slayport, we're finally allowed to enter the Aqua base east of Lily Cove. I swear that I didn't try and come here twice before, only to be turned away. Professional Pokemon player. I promise. We take care of Team Aqua with aplomb and start making our way to Moss Deep City where the 7th gym lies. Twin time. And just as soon as it starts, it's over. Aron one-shot the Lunaton and Solrock with Iron Tail. Easiest gym fight ever. She didn't even miss and the 7th badge is ours. Now, it's time to go take on Team Aqua once again since we have the ability to use Dive outside of battle. While exploring the cave where they're camped out, I find the TM for Earthquake, which I immediately teach over Dig. Then, it's time to take on Archie for the final time. He leads with a Mightyena, so our attack is lower for the entire fight, but it doesn't last for long as he goes for Swagger, confusing Stella, but also raising her attack so it's +1 net. She hits herself in confusion, then we outspeed, snap out of confusion, and take it down with an Iron Tail. Crobat is next, and we're outsped obviously, and flinch after a bite. We get confused once again by a Confuse Ray, hit ourselves 3 times in a row, and go down. Archie's a jerk. I try again, and this time I start off with an iron defense. We still get swaggered by Mighty Anna and hit ourselves once, but snap out after that to take him down. Here comes Crobat again. He confuses us, but this time we don't hit ourselves and almost take it out with a single Iron Tail. Archie then heals and we hit ourselves in confusion. He then wastes another turn with healing? Why does he only have super potions? Either way, it gives us the time we need to snap out confusion and take it out with 2 double edges. Sharpedo is last and he slashes at us, but he goes down to 1 double edge. Seriously, does Sharpedo not get water-type moves? I thought he was going to be more of a challenge. Team Aqua was the reason I chose to play Sapphire over Ruby. I thought I'd be dealing with more special attacking Watermons. After the battle, Archie uses the red orb on Kyogre and brings about the beginning of the end of the world. Before it ends though, why don't you guys take this time to follow me on Twitch? I try and go live a few days a week over there, mainly playing Pokemon games as well. I'm currently doing a playthrough of Paper Mario, so pop on over there and check it out. Now, it's up to us to save the world, so off to the Cave of Origin where Kyogre has taken shelter, and we have the opportunity to catch him. But this is an Aron run. We don't need this pleb, so we show him who's boss and knock him down a peg or two, defeating him first try with just 3 double edges. He didn't even use a water move on us while it was raining. Whatever. Hell ensues shortly after. We now have to take on the Water Gym. This ought to be fun. Wallace leads with a Love Disc, which aren't inherently threatening, this one's just annoying. We get outsped and confused with Sweet Kiss, but hit our double edge anyway, leaving Love Disc with just a sliver of health remaining. Wallace heals with a Hyper Potion, and we hit ourselves in confusion. Love Disc then uses Water Pulse, which hurts, but we snap out confusion and use Iron Defense just in case we get confused again. Stella gets hit with another Water Pulse, and things aren't looking good. We knock it out with a double edge, proving that it was a damage range that we missed the first time, and Wallace sends out Celio next. Stella gets taken out with 1 more Water Pulse, however. We did end up landing a hit, but it didn't even do half. Not even a crit will save us here. It's time to do some serious grinding. I trained up against some of the trainers I've left on previous routes, mainly ones in and around Mount Pyre, but also on the water routes as well. I also decided that I can't win without Sunny Day, so I taught that over Iron Defense. I come back at level 57, but it's still not really close. So many things have to go our way, it's just not worth it at this low of a level. Most attempts I reset to Love Disc because of bad confusion luck. It would be amazing if we could outspeed, but I'm not sure what level I would need to get to in order to make that happen. I come back every 2 or 3 levels to try my luck, but it doesn't really get close until Aron hits level 65. This is the closest attempt I got prior to switching up my moveset again. We can now actually outspeed Love Disc, however it's a speed tie. We won the coin flip and took it out with 1 double edge, and we're back to Celio. We outspeed, Iron Tail lands, and it goes down in 1 shot. Seeking is third and is a damage range with double edge that we actually want to miss initially, but get it on the second attempt after Wallace heals. All goes accordingly, and Seeking is left with a sliver of health and uses Rain Dance. On the turn that he heals, we use Sunny Day, and now we need the roll to go in our favor. Which it does! Now we got Milotic out. Wallace's second to last Pokemon, and it goes for Water Pulse, but only for about 30 HP thanks to the sun. I used Double Edge for 3/4 of its health, and Stella gets hit with the second Water Pulse, putting her under 100 hit points as Milotic goes down. Finally, Wallace's last Pokemon, Whiscash. We deal massive damage with a Double Edge, but we still don't take it out, even being 23 levels higher, and we go down to a single Earthquake. Man, we're so close. I head back to the move reminder and teach Iron Defense to Aron again. I didn't think we'd need it for this fight, but I have a plan. We try again, and after many more attempts, finally get a run we've been looking for. We lose the speed tie with Love Disc and get confused by Sweet Kiss, but we still get our Iron Defense up. Stella immediately snaps out of confusion and outspeeds her, getting the knockout. Celio is next, and now, since we got rid of Iron Tail, Double Edge makes him a damage range as well, which we get, and next up is Seeking. Nothing's changed with my strategy here. We need to miss the range initially, set up Sunny Day, and hit the range after Wallace heals. That's exactly what happened. Milotic is next, and we crit our Double Edge, taking only 1 Water Pulse in the process. Finally, the thing we set up the Iron Defense for, Whiscash. Double Edge takes him for a little more than 3/4 health, as Wallace opts for Amnesia? I swear the AI in these games is weird sometimes. After that, he heals up and we get 2 turns in a row as a result, finally beating the 8th gym leader of Hoenn and getting our final badge. That took some doing. I think level 65 was the golden number for this fight. A level lower and the ranges and the speed tie wouldn't have been possible. A level higher and we might have always KO'd Seeking in one shot. If we trained more, I think we'd have to go until we could one-shot the Whiscash, honestly. 65 is the absolute lowest I could possibly be at this point. Everything had to go perfectly. It's time to take on Victory Road, and as we get to the end, Wally takes me by surprise. I knew he was here, but I couldn't remember where he showed up. I almost forgot to record this fight, honestly. He leads with an Altaria, and immediately I'm scared. This thing could have Earthquake, so I opt for Iron Defense before double-edging it, putting him in red health. Wally heals, and I just use another double-edge to take him down. Crisis averted. Roselia is next, and it gets one shot. I don't think the crit mattered. Magneton gets one shot with Earthquake, and he sends out Delcatty. 2 Earthquakes, and it goes down after it misses a Sing and heals with a Super Potion. Gardevoir is also a 2-shot with double edge. We take a bit of damage from 2 Psychics, but it's not a big deal. That was an easy fight. With that, it's time to take on the Elite Four at the Pokemon League. Here are my stats. We have pretty decent attack and solid defense, but not much else. I think I'll need to be a bit higher of a level to take down Glacia, the Ice-type user, but I think getting to her will not be too much of an issue. Make sure to comment down below if you think I could win or not at this level. Sydney is the first member of the Elite Four and is a Dark-type user. He leads off with a Mightyena, so once again my attack will be lowered throughout the entire battle. I start with an Earthquake, which does less than half, and then I get Sand attacked. Double Edge takes out Mightyena, and next up is Sharpedo. This one actually has a Water-type move, as I soon learn, and Stella gets hammered with a Surf, taking her down to just 56 HP from one move. I use Earthquake once again, but it only does about half its health, and I go down to the following Surf. Okay, I didn't remember Sydney having a Water-type. Back to the drawing board. I try again, and this time lead with Double Edge on Mightyena, which does about half his HP with the Silk Scarf. Stella gets hit with a Sand attack, but I set up a Sunny Day to hopefully negate some of the damage that Sharpedo was doing. Crunch doesn't do a ton, but then I miss the next Double Edge. Crunch hits, but I'm only down about 30 HP, and the next Double Edge connects for the knockout. Sharpedo is back out, and he uses Swagger. Stella hits through it, and he goes down in one hit. I hit Cacturne through Confusion as well, and he also goes down to one Double Edge. Absol uses Swords Dance, but it doesn't matter as Stella hits through Confusion again, and it's another one-shot. Last up is Shiftry, and he is annoying. He likes to use Double Team. Stella finally hits herself in Confusion and breaks out the next turn, but Shiftry already has 2 Double Teams up, so we miss. We actually ended up missing 4 times in a row until Double Edge finally connects, and Shiftry also gets knocked out in one hit. I'd be more upset if I didn't rely on Double Team tactics in my last challenge video. With Sydney defeated, it's time to tackle the Ghost-type user, Phoebe. Since my normal-type Double Edge won't be effective here, I swap out the Silk Scarf for the Soft Sand and try my hand. She leads off with the Dusclops with Pressure. Great. I already have limited moves as it is, and I know she has 2 of them. Earthquake deals half its health, but I get confused with Confuse Ray. Stella hits through it for the knockout, and Phoebe sends out her second Dusclops. Stella hits herself in Confusion and gets knocked out by a couple of Earthquakes of its own. Seriously? What is it with these random trainers having this move? I try again with a different strategy. First thing I do is set up an Iron Defense to soften the blow from the second Dusclops. I get confused but hit my first Earthquake anyway, and then she uses Future Sight. Stella snaps out of Confusion and gets a second Iron Defense up while Dusclops goes for Future Sight again? You know they don't stack, right Phoebe? It goes down to the next Earthquake, and I'm feeling more confident about my chance to survive an opposing Quake now. Stella takes Future Sight damage as soon as the next Dusclops shows up, and my Earthquake does about half. I get confused yet again, but hit through it, leaving Dusclops with just a sliver, while Earthquake brings me down to half HP. Her Dusclops eats a Citrus Berry, and Stella hits herself in Confusion, and another Earthquake brings her down to just 46 hit points. I hit through Confusion to land the finishing blow, and Banet's next. Stella hits herself again, and Bayonet immediately burns me with Will-O-Wisp, dooming us. Stella snaps out, but too little too late as the burn makes us faint. I don't think we're ready for Phoebe yet. After some training, using a handful of rare candies and a reworking of Stella's moves, it's time to try again. This time at level 77, and with Iron Tail in place of Double Edge. I also equipped the Metal Coat for this fight. I open with an Earthquake as usual, but this time Dusclops goes for Shadow Punch instead of Confuse Ray. I'm not complaining. Then I set up 2 Iron Defenses as I get confused, and then Future Sight it. Stella hits herself when she was trying to put up her 3rd Iron Defense, but Dusclops uses another Future Sight. I really don't think Phoebe knows how that move works. We snap out and get the third one up as she tries once again to stack future sights. We end up taking damage from the first one she set up earlier, and then take her down in the next turn with an Earthquake. Her second Dusclops is sent out, and Earthquake does much more reliable damage now, but Stella gets confused, and he eats his Citrus Berry. We hit ourselves, and then get hit by an Earthquake, but we're still above half health, but another turn of hitting ourselves and this ghost moving the ground, and we're down to just 82 hit points. We finally snap out, and Irontail lands for big damage, finally knocking her out. Irontail misses Bayonet, but she only wants to feint attack us, so we're safer now. The second one connects, and it's a one-shot. No burns this time. Sableye is fourth, and Irontail misses once again as he lands a Psychic for an amazing 11 damage. Irontail also takes it down in just one hit when it finally connects. Last up is Phoebe's second Bayonet, and Irontail finally hits first try. She goes down, and Phoebe is defeated. Now, it's time for the member of the Elite Four that I'm truly dreading, Glacia. Glacia uses Ice-type Pokemon, but I know for a fact that she has some that are partially Water and have Water-type moves. Also, all of her Pokemon know Hail, so setting up a Sunny Day is out of the question. She leads with a Glalie, who sets up Hail for free, as I miss an Irontail. Ice Beam doesn't do too much, and Stella takes it out with just a second Irontail hitting. Next is Celio, one of her part Water types. And Irontail doesn't quite knock it out, and Stella gets nailed with a Surf, dropping to only 32 HP after the Hail. Glacia heals, then Celio gets knocked out after another Irontail, so it's a range. Not this again. She sends out another Celio, but Irontail misses, and she puts us out of our misery with a Blizzard, which has 100% accuracy in the Hail. I decided I wanted a couple more levels to make those ranges more consistent, so I rare candy up to level 80 before trying this fight again. This time it goes a bit smoother, but it's far from a perfect fight. Glalie still sets up the Hail for free, and lands an Ice Beam before going down. Celio dodges an Irontail as well, dropping Stella to just 40 hit points. Irontail lands for the one-shot, but Hail knocks us into red health. Glacia's second Celio also goes down in one shot, but I think that this one might have been a damage range since it was 2 levels higher than the last one. Walrein is fourth, and Irontail does huge damage, getting her to below a quarter health. Her Blizzard misses as Hail stopped at the end of the last turn. Walrein's Berry heals it slightly and takes her out of healing range from Glacia, and an Earthquake knocks it out. Last up is her second Glalie, whose Ice Beam takes us all the way down to just 1 hit point, as Irontail connects for the knockout and the win. Talk about hanging on by a thread. With Glacia defeated, it's time to move on to the final member of the Elite Four, Drake and his Dragon types. Drake leads with his Shelgon, but I already know that he can't do anything to Stella, so I set up 3 Iron defenses immediately. We took less than 40 damage total while setting up, and now it's time to start wailing on him. Irontail puts Shelgon into red health, but also lowers his defense, so the second one takes it out. Flygon is next, and he sets up a Sandstorm, which is pointless here, but okay. A single Irontail takes him out, and out comes his twin. Seriously, the Elite Four in here aren't very creative in this gen. Still gets hit with the Flamethrower for decent damage, and I used Earthquake, forgetting about Flygon's Levitate ability. He continues to whittle me down as Irontail misses for the millionth time, and when it finally connects, it doesn't even KO. Another freaking damage range. Both of his Flygon are the same level. Joy. By the time he finally faints, I'm left with just 29 HP, and Salamence takes us out easily with a Flamethrower. I think this battle is possible, just with a bit better luck. I set up against Shelgon like normal, and take it out with an Earthquake Irontail combo to avoid the heal. The first Flygon sets up a Sandstorm as I miss Irontail, and it uses Dragon Breath on us before I can knock it out. The second Flygon uses Sand Attack, but thankfully Irontail still hits, but not for the kill. It does, however, lower his defense, which is nice. Drake heals it up, and Stella misses 2 more Irontail as she gets Sand Attacked 2 more times. Luckily, the third Irontail hits, and Flygon goes down. Salamence is fourth, and he cuts my attack with Intimidate. He uses Flamethrower, and we somehow land a critical hit Irontail to knock it out. Altaria is Drake's last Pokemon, and he starts whittling our health away with Dragon Breath and buffing his stats with Dragon Dance, while we can't seem to connect with Irontail again. One of his Dragon Breaths eventually paralyzes us, giving Stella an even lower chance to hit. The next turn, we finally manage to make contact, but it only deals half of Altaria's health and damage. I'm starting to worry if we'll have enough power points to even win this fight now. However, Stella puts that worry to rest immediately and landed a second one in a row to take him out and beat the Elite Four. With that win under our belts, all that's left is the champion himself, Steven Stone. I went into this fight with my head held high because I know Skarmory is his lead and we can sit up easily on it, and with Irontail and Earthquake, He has strong super effective moves against a fair few of his Pokemon. Steven quickly showed me why I should keep my hubris in check. Like I said, he leads with Skarmory, so I'll let the Iron Defense setup begin. He only manages to deal 44 hit points worth of damage to Stella while she sets up, but the damage she's dealing with Iron Tail leaves something to be desired. She's only doing about a quarter of Skarmory's health every hit. However, after the first hit, Steven withdraws Skarmory, catching me completely off guard, and Metagross takes the Iron Tail I lined up instead. His Earthquake brings Stella down to half HP, while ours knocks him out with a crit. Next up is Armaldo, who we Iron Tail down for the KO. Claydol is next, and he sets up a Reflect, but once again, I forgot about Levitate and end up doing nothing with Earthquake. He then uses an Earthquake of his own, taking about a third of Stella's remaining hit points. Iron Tail does less than half, but also lowers Claydol's defense, opening the door for a 2-shot. Another Earthquake brings Stella to 33 HP, and Claydol faints to the next Iron Tail. Stella's older brother is 5th, and I opt for Earthquake since it's 4 times super effective. It only deals about 2/3 of its health thanks to Reflect still being up, and we get taken out by a Thunder. There's something poetic about losing this way in the final battle. Steven may have an ironclad will, but we're not about to give up so easily after all we've been through. I buckle up and try again, but after a handful of close fights, I finally use the rest of my rare candies that I've been saving. Give Aron the soft sand over the Nettle Coat, and give it one more go. The beginning of the next battle starts off in much the same way, with me setting up iron defenses on Skarmory while he hits us for very minimal damage. The only difference this time is that Steven doesn't switch and lets us knock out Skarmory and a few Iron Tails. I can't even begin to tell you guys how many times he switched that thing out when we were about to KO it. Armaldo is now sent out second, and he goes down to just 1 Iron Tail, just like before. Claydol doesn't set up a screen like last time, and he just goes for Earthquake for decent damage. Stella crits an Iron Tail, and it goes down in one shot. Igran is 4th and gets taken out easily by an Earthquake now, thanks to Reflect not being an issue, and Steven sends out his ace, Metagross, next. He does a little under half of our health with Earthquake, as we put him in red health with one of our own. Steven heals up, and we put him right back in low health. Since Metagross is faster, he lands one last hit on us, bringing Stella all the way down to a single hit point again, before we can finally take him out. Cradily is Steven's final Pokemon, and it all comes down to this. One last Iron Tail needs to hit for us to be crowned the new champion. Stella winds up the attack, and it connects, taking Cradily down in one shot, defeating Steven once and for all. With that, Steven leads us to the Hall of Fame to commemorate our achievement and definitively prove that you can beat Pokemon Sapphire with nothing but a single Aron. I bet this moment must feel at least a little bittersweet for him. That was truly an intense ending that I didn't see coming. I honestly thought Wallace was going to be the brick wall that we'd have to overcome and we'd never look back. Never in a million years would I have guessed that every single member of the Elite Four would give us trouble in some way. All in all, I'm very happy with this run. The mid-game was a bit easy, but that was to be expected with a Rock-Steel type. Also, I didn't think Sunny Day would have been as useful as it was, but it really served its purpose when I needed it to. I'm not 100% sure what challenge I'm going to do next, so don't forget to leave your suggestions in the comments below or on Twitter. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell to be sure you don't miss out on any future runs. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.